Um, I'm going to give us another 30 seconds to see if we can figure this out, and then I'm going to start on the radio itself. Like I, s- I know, but what I'm saying, I want to come around there, just take a look at the camera settings. So, folks, stay with me for about 30 seconds, and if we don't fix it, then I'll just be sound only for now. All right. Did we? Success. Love it. You know, in every place of challenge, there is a victory ahead. And the sweeter the victory, of course, based on the harder challenge. So, God bless, folks. Are we on live? Robin, one more time. Please check sound, volume, everything else. We're coming on through. Perfect. And this is fantastic because we got a wonderful conversation today. And today is going to be three key ingredients, three secrets that we talk to our private patients about with regard to in making sure they have good health. And we're going to take those apart one by one, or we're going to introduce them one by one. But in the meantime, I do want to say that we do have a wonderful opportunity for I'm just going to make sure I don't miss anything, flash sale. It ends Sunday at midnight. And it's a 10% off on orders over 100 on everything in our wellness store, so that you can start utilizing some of our wellness advice and, equipment, devices, and protocols. The code is number 3, TIPS, 3 tips. And these are the health and wellness. Without these, there can be health. So, question number 1, the first topic, lifestyle. What does lifestyle mean? Most people think alcohol, substances, or just general, family and otherwise stress. What am I doing? Where am I working for? Am I happy? So on and so forth. These are all the many factors and facets. Lifestyle can be summarized in terms of a healthy fashion, in terms of the positive approach, positive attitude, positive perspective towards life. In other words, we could have had a terrible beginning of the radio show. I could have given up and just literally said, wait, we can't do this. But no, we don't do that. There is no giving up in holism. So I'm hoping that all the audio and video is working properly. But in the meantime, I'm also hoping that everyone is also developing a sense of getting their body, mind, and spirit working properly as well. The foundation is lifestyle, nutrition, what we eat, garbage in, garbage out, the good things out. Mostly veggies, I'd say 80%. If you're not enjoying your veggies, then at the very least, make sure you have your supplements. Then we'll talk about that. Some amount of protein, about 60 grams for most people, 1 for each kilogram of weight. But again, it kind of depends on the activity, on how athletic and otherwise you are, and what the goal is: lose weight, gain weight, or so on and so forth. Activity, motion. Are you moving? Are you utilizing this amazing vessel that is your body, your physical body? Are you moving your arms, your legs, your back? Are you utilizing this amazing instrument? Because here's the thing: if you don't use it, it will become useless, and then you're going to lose the function, and then you cannot use it as necessary. But we're given all these for a reason. We are meant to use and to enjoy the facilities of our physical body. So if you're not exercising, if you're not doing something that you enjoy, you are giving up a major part of your heritage. And this is part of the blueprint of health. Do this to be healthy. If you know, obviously there are some limitations, and for example, some people with back troubles, you're not able to do certain exercises, but do what you can, and always do your best. Nothing more, nothing less. Next, sleep. Very important. Are you getting enough sleep? 7 to 8 hours of good, clean, quality sleep, and are you waking up refreshed? Robin, I can see your head shaking. No, okay, then we got to fix that. Let's talk after the radio. This is how many folks out there truly don't rest and sleep well. During the night is when the circadian rhythm cycles take place. This is when the cleansing of most of the organs take place. This is when the liver, when the gut, when everything that we do is supposed to regenerate. Now, this goes back to the concept of nutrition, the idea of what we put in our bodies and when. And another concept that related to sleep as well as nutrition and activity, otherwise, is whatever you eat, in general, stop 2 hours or more before you go to bed. And I know some people work night shifts, some people work intermittent hours, some people just literally are night people. And if you can reverse your schedule and still be okay, God bless you, but it's kind of difficult. Human physiology wasn't meant to be a nocturnal animal. We really are supposed to sleep at night and rest and recover, regenerate. If we don't, then let's make sure that we do everything in our power, including setting up the patterns that are supportive of that. And there's a number of options that on that front. Weight. Are you overweight? 33, over 33% of Americans are overweight, and well over 35% or more is now obese. Technically obese. Dr. Shealy and he and I were having a real good conversation about all of this right before I came on the show. And by the way, he's saying hello to everyone, and he's doing all right. He just couldn't be here today, and he did want to send a message. And this is why I'm talking about this. Make sure you emphasize lifestyle. And you've heard him before. He has been an outspoken advocate for the basics of the lifestyle ever since, I can remember, and I'm sure you can as well. And this is wisdom. This is basic to the roots, basic to the blueprint. Let's talk about other things. Is anybody out there who is smoking? Well, if you are, that's okay. Just let's acknowledge and see where we are. Are you aware of the harmful effects of that habit? Okay, that's one question. And as a physician, I was trained to say, well, let's stop that right away. And it's a good advice, but it wasn't taken by 99% of my patients. And then I started asking myself a question: why don't people listen to this white coat with degree and everything else telling them to stop smoking? Well, first of all, the number one thing is, if the doctor giving the advice has a cigarette pack himself, which and several of my colleagues do, it's not going to work. So first of all, do as you do personally, and not so much as you say. Words have a meaning, but it's only action that matters. It's the follow through. Smoking serves a purpose. So does alcohol. This is what I realized. People who smoke don't do that because they want to spend time on cigarettes extra, money and time and health. Most people know the problems. Most people have been through the gamut, but they still do it. Why do we do the harmful habits? And for that matter, I'm going to go into another subsegment here. Why do we not take care of ourselves? Why do we say, yeah, okay, I should exercise. Yeah, my diet is crap. Yeah, I am overweight, or I'm not sleeping well, but, and then there's a big but, literally. There's a big but. And that big but is a big question. Why? What? How? If not now, when? If not you, then who? Who is responsible for you? Who is responsible for your decisions? Who is responsible for your outcomes? It's very simple. Pattern, action, outcome. 1 + 1 = 2. If I wanted to make 1 + 1 = 4, that's not how it works in our mathematical system. Although I could certainly identify with that statement, which would make it true in today's standards, but I'm not going to go in that category right now. So in reality, the truth is the truth. So let's kind of stay with the basic principles, and I'll try not to do anything controversial for the rest of the show. I'll behave. Robin is telling me, hey, she's about to censor me right there. Okay, Yes, ma'am. Uh, let's go into the next essential habit or next essential thing. Well, let's change the vocabulary. Next essential item in terms of staying healthy: supplements. A lot of people come to us with supplements. Some people take too much, some people don't take enough. What is the essentials that we need? Why? And why, of course? Because we don't get the nutrients that we need from our food anymore. Magnesium is deficient. Vitamin D is deficient. When those things are deficient, you know that everything else is going to follow through. We don't have enough intake of a B complex. We don't have enough of vitamin C. We don't. The fruits and the veggies, even the healthy stuff, may look good on the outside, but with fertilizers and all the other chemical ways to make the food look good, but not necessarily be healthier, especially GMOs, genetically modified organisms. And, well, like I said, I'll stop right there. There's a lot of stuff that I can go into: fluoride in the water, aluminum, trails in the sky. I mean, just 5G. Folks, the world is not a friendly place anymore. And if we're going to survive, if we're going to do well, if we're going to excel in this crazy world, which is not very friendly, we need to have certain supports. So other than good nutrition, got to have a good B complex. Eco Greens, Dr. Shealy's Essentials. A good B complex, minimum of 25 milligrams of B plus trace minerals. If you're not getting that, make sure you do one way or another. Another thing, youth formula, which Dr. Shealy geniusly combined between vitamin C and MSM, raises DHEA, anti-stress wellness hormone, which is deficient in, starts going down after our 20s, and by the time we are 80s, down to 10% of our that youthful, stress-free living. Well, let's get that back. That raises the DHEA by 60% naturally. If you're not you definitely should be on magnesium, but not magnesium by mouth unless you have constipation. Magnesium is a wonderful substance to make things pass through the GI tract, and I certainly do recommend for that purpose. But as Dr. Shealy has demonstrated, the absorption is and utilization, bioutilization of magnesium taken as a pill is absolutely worthless in most cases. Now, there are some forms that are better than others. But if you really want the benefit without passing through through the liver and all those other complications, so to speak, transdermal, magnesium lotion or spray, literally a handful, sometimes a couple of times a day, or you can just do it once. 20 minutes on, you can take a shower. It's a little sticky, but or you can, if it doesn't bother, then that's okay. Usually around the buttock area, and then just couple of minutes and you can get on with the day. What are some of the other things that are essential? Well, depending on the condition, of course. Now, there's protocols for blood pressure, for diabetes, for cholesterol, in other words, the metabolic range of symptoms. And there's protocols and supplements that will support those things. And I'm happy to answer questions with regard to those protocols if in the second part of the radio show. If you have anything specific, but what I mentioned is the bare essential minimum of what a person should have in our crazy, polluted world. Number three on the line in the list, but certainly number one in terms of importance, other than, of course, lifestyle. Self-regulation. Self-regulation and literally, the ability, the capacity to know I am okay no matter what the world around me is doing. Whether the technology is working or not, I'm okay. I'll still go on with the show. Whether whatever's happening out there, politically, socially, weather-wise, I'm okay. Internally, I've decided, and I'm going to do everything in my power to optimize my outcomes in any environment. And that is self-control. What does self-control entail? First of all, you have to have awareness. If a person doesn't know where you are, I did a little boxing, earlier, and I still like the sport. And for a while, I was not aware of my head. Literally, I wasn't aware of the location of my head, and I kept getting punched in the head for a while. And then I figured out I got to move my head. I got to know where my head is. So I didn't take too many blows. I mean, I wanted to continue using it. So I'm not a professional boxer. I just want to be clear. But the awareness is of a thing is one of the keys. And for example, a car. Take a vehicle. When you're driving, let's say a light comes on. Say it's a flat tire or a pressure tire. Check it out. It might be real, it might be a sensor, but check it out. If it's early, you can fix it. You can get on the road and you'll be okay. Ignore it or be angry at it and just let it go until it gets further and further. And the newer cars can tell you how much lower it's going, but ignore it. That's okay. See what happens. Flat tire and maybe a blow up. Who knows? This is what happens in human condition. When we're not aware of what's happening in our internal bodies, internally, physically, mentally, emotionally, what happens is that the stuff accumulates until it overcomes us, and then it blows up. In cases of emotional and mental, it can be panic attack or episode of some kind of an emotional outburst. Now, are those pleasant things? No, but are they necessary? Yes, they are in a situation, because the anxiety and the stress has become pent up so much, it's got nowhere to go. It's got to do something. It's energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. On the physical level, let's say a person keeps abusing their body, drinking alcohol or any other, let's say, bad habit, or not taking care of the body, not doing the maintenance. At some point, the organs are going to go. We can only take so much. And it's an incredible mechanism, organism creation, truly a miracle. Well, we got to respect it. We got to honor it. You got to follow the blueprint and recognize what's going on. One of the basic principles of biogenics, which is a self-regulation system and has been literally redesigned and revamped with binaural beats, frequencies, gamma, and for the brain optimization, and also just literally remastered in a pretty beautiful way in an online program, Biogenics, almost basically a giveaway. Technically, this was an $8,000 course or intensive in our clinic. People would come in. People would literally come in for 2 weeks, 40 hours a week, and then we would work with them on training their brain, optimizing the environment, and literally giving them a boot camp experience so that they can restructure, rewire how they think, how they process, and the outcomes. And that's just the beginning, because then there's a 2 to 3 month habits formation, and the process truly becomes solid, really strong and powerful at about a year mark. Some people earlier, of course, some people later. There's, of course, human variation, but that's when you become a lifestyle. Dr. Shealy, for example, and this morning when he was doing exercise, I asked him how many minutes was he working out. And he's not as strong as he was before, but he's still doing at least an hour, 60 minutes of activity every day. And that's more than I do. I mean, it's a different type of activity, but that's the benefit of lifestyle. Dr. Shealy will not do any of the terrible things because it's not part of his culture. He doesn't want it. He's not interested. That's not him. And if there's something that he does want to do, such as supplements and habits, lifestyle, certain positive right thinking, that's natural. That's who he is. That's what I want. That's what we want you to become, your best self, so that you don't need the external stuff. Nobody was born with a deficiency of pills. There's no genetic variant to say you've got a shortage of Zoloft in your system as a newborn, or blood pressure drugs, or mood drugs, or cholesterol drugs. That wasn't the blueprint. That's the human invention, and humans have never and will never get close to the level of the creation that is possible on divine scale. And this divinity, this holism, this holistic approach, this concept of self-regulation, and there's various techniques, and one of them is autogenic training, literally biofeedback, the 6 phrases. My arms and legs are heavy and warm. Vagal nerve stimulation. You can learn how to do that with the power of your mind, the control center. My heartbeat is calm and regular. You can catch the heartbeat rising. You can bring it down. My breathing is free and easy. Controls the blood pH, among many other things. Enzyme functions. It's the entire milieu of the body. Breathing is key to life. Prana. My abdomen is warm. Greatest chemical factory in the world. My forehead is cool. the word cool-headed. I'm all right. I'm the captain of my ship. My ever-conscious mind is quiet and perfectly still. How many people have gotten there? How many people in the midst of activity can be perfectly still and perfectly in the moment, in the present moment, not in the future, worrying about stuff, not in the past, going over mistakes or errors, or perhaps not living in the past by any means. Here and now. Ram Dass had a really wonderful book way back in decades ago. Be here now. That is the power of the moment. And that is the power of the spirit, self-regulation. So we're going to come to a break shortly, but I do want to finish with a brief summary. These are the key things for success in life, in health and wellness, but in everything else. Lifestyle, supplements that we talked about, and self-regulation, autogenic training, biogenics, and you can get a lot of these things easier with a 10% off. And again, I'll just make sure that I read this carefully so I don't miss any single detail. Flash sale. Sunday at midnight is the last day, and 10% off on orders of over $100 on everything in our wellness store. realholisticdoc.com. So you can start using our expert tips that we talked about so that you can utilize the benefit of our private patients and make the best of your life. And we'll be back after the break, and stay tuned and stay with us through the break for the YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Discount is a 10% off. The code is 3TIPS. Thank you, Robin. My mind just doesn't go to certain things. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And all right. We are on a break. And again, thank you, Robin. I appreciate you. Are we good sound-wise? I can continue talking and we can continue having conversation, but I do want to check in with the people online. And is there any hellos from?
There is hello from New York.
All right. Yeah.
We did have a question.
Well, let's get to the question.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. The question is, I'm 68 and my PSA has slowly risen from 5 to 10 over the last 10 years. Any reason for concern?
Possibly. There are several issues that should be considered in this situation. Number one, I would certainly want to check and make sure that it's not a prostate cancer, because it could be a prostatic hypertrophy. There are certain things such as men's prostate care. I think it's one of the supplements in our store, but I'm sure there's other things. Saw palmetto is, and then a few other things that are useful. But also, if the symptoms of the large prostate, and it sounds like, and the PSA level does not necessarily correlate to the exact size, but generally, the bigger the PSA, the greater the size of the prostate. Another thing is to make sure you are checked out by a physician or a provider, I should say, to make sure that there is no concern for malignancy or anything else of that nature. Symptom-wise, there's a way to work with that, and there is even a consideration for something called green laser, something that Dr. Norm Shealy talks a lot about, because it doesn't quite destroy the entire prostate, and it can leave a lot of the nerve supply, so that basically you don't lose, a man would not lose the erection or or control of the bowel and bladder and otherwise. So I hope that helps. But to get started, make sure you're checked out, and there's got to be a digital rectal exam to go with it. Unfortunately, it's a finger, up the rectum, just to see what the prostate looks like, feels like, I should say. And it's something that we do as physicians every day. And it's nothing new to us, but it's again something to be checked out. Yeah.
We have another question. What do you do to help high liver enzymes?
Ah, wonderful. So this is I love questions like that. So the question is, what do you do to help high liver enzymes? Let's talk about why root causes. Why would a liver enzyme be elevated? What are some of the reasons? Uh, the first and most common, I'm just going to say something called fatty liver. Fatty liver is a very common condition, very closely associated with a SAD, standard American diet. Uh, you put crap into the system. The liver is one of the first organs to detoxify. At some point, you throw so much and so often at the poor liver so that it's no longer able to function properly, then becomes fatty liver, increased liver function tests. Then you go to a conventional doctor, and the conventional doctor will do an ultrasound, for example. And by the way, this everything I'm saying is certainly should be for consideration. Ultrasound, certain labs, check out for whether it's alcohol related, or whether it's another medical condition. There is a variety of blood work, CBC, chemistry. There is chemistry, which includes the liver function tests of all sorts. But there is also potential scope. There's other ways to check things out. Once you know that it's not an acute medical emergency, such as any kind of masses, cancers, things of that nature. As an emergency room doc, my mind always considers all the bad red flags. That's what I do for a living there, and that's what I do as part of my wellness. First, I look at the red flags, and then once there's no red flags, then we can go into the wellness and the more likely stuff. But I want to come back to the concept of the fatty liver, which is the most likely and the most common cause of elevated liver tests. And assuming that a person is not a raging alcoholic, or otherwise, or hepatitis, or in which case those need to be addressed primarily. Yep, and we got 30 seconds to finish up. But so to finish up on that question, clean up your lifestyle. And the other thing is there are certain supplementations, including glutathione, in addition to the basics that I mentioned. But self-regulation here is the key, because liver responds extremely well to everything self-centered control.
Now back to Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norman Shealy and Dr. Sergey Leo Shealy-Sorin.
And we are on. Okay, great. Welcome back to the second half of the radio, and this is exciting. We get to ask questions, we get to call in, and we get to, interact. So please do, if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned about today, lifestyle, supplements, and of course, self-regulation. But there, in holism, everything is related to everything, and anything is possible. So everything from hemorrhoids to aliens to everything else on top of that, I'm happy to discuss. And if I don't know something, such as about aliens, then I'll certainly we'll look for a source of information. But with all due seriousness, please, anything goes. So unless there's a phone call, please, I'll continue. And again, for those who haven't maybe heard the first half, there is a flash sale which ends Sunday at midnight. 10% off on orders over $100 on everything at the store. realholisticdoc.com. And you can utilize any of the advice and information that we talk about here, but everything in the store. The code is 3, number 3, and then letter TIPS, 3 tips, which is the topic of this radio show. Now, we have a call. Okay, fantastic. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing all right. You are on the air. How can I be of service?
Awesome. I have a question for you. First of all, thank you. It's nice to see you, and sorry that Norm's missing. I hope he's okay.
He is. He's doing all right. It's just that right now he's got to focus more so on his health and recovery and therapy, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Understood. Prayers to him and
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you. Yeah.
He had helped me. He's helped me tremendously over the years, and I'm getting ready to start some vitamin C infusions here in Virginia where I live, and he gave me during my recent consult over the phone the ingredients for the vitamin C infusions for
Wonderful. Myers cocktail. Yeah. Huh?
the Myers cocktail, because I'm having a tremendous amount of inflammation, and the treating nurse practitioner says that the vitamin B complex in her studies will counteract the vitamin C, and I thought that Norm was adamant about there having to be vitamin B complex in the cocktail.
Yes. Wonderful and absolutely relevant question, and I get this from my conventional colleagues a lot. Some are trying to tear my head off, and some are actually listening to what I got to say. But regardless, here's my answer: you cannot have vitamin C safely without a B complex. Here's why: we are loading large amounts of vitamin C, which is wonderful for the immune system. It's wonderful for detox. It does a number of good things in the body, including fighting infections and everything else. But it utilizes it. It takes certain amount of a B complex. B complex is your fuel or the energy. Whatever is happening in the body, it depends on the B complex. That's why we talked about Dr. Shealy's essentials.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't have that, you're going to deplete the B that is present by utilizing super high doses of C. And you're going to have you'll be basically going on fumes, and a person can go into a significant detox reaction, Herxheimer reaction. And this is what happens when people are not careful about making sure that everything is balanced. It also has to have other things such as magnesium and calcium, and again, in the right proportions. So if a person is not going to do the thing right, just don't do it at all. I mean, that's what we do in our center.
Right. Understood. I gave her the exact recipe, and her suggestion was to not include it. And I'm like, I was 99.9%.
Yeah, I would not feel safe with not including that. That's not an option. Yeah.
Well, that's what I had thought you all had said, and Norm had mentioned on the radio and told me, because I don't have the C without the B. So
absolutely. And he's been doing this for 30 plus years. We actually we have I know you're not local here, but in our clinic we do vitamin C. And so, by the way, supplies are getting really hard to find lately. So I hope you're doing okay in your area. We're still doing okay, but so we go anywhere from 25 to up to 75 grams, depending on what it is. Because people say a Myers or a vitamin C IV, you got to be careful. Just because somebody says the word doesn't mean it's that quality. In other words, or the amounts. It could be a drop in the bucket. Could be too much. Could be too little. And the other thing, by the way, if you have an opportunity where you are, is medical ozone.
Right. I'm going to do. He said do ozone first, and I got the exact proportions because he wanted me to do 75. I get the milligrams and grams mixed up. But
75 grams of C.
75 grams of C, and it's like I knew I needed the exact proportions because Myers cocktail is not equal the world around, and plus with modified Myers cocktails, and some people just say, "Oh, I'll just give you vitamin C," and I'm like,
no,
I hurt so badly.
Yeah.
I used to take, I think it's Calcimag. I can't remember what I used to take, or else a Viactive, and that would help herxing, and I can't remember why my other doctor gave it to me, but it helped me not herx. But I herxed so badly, I thought if I just get straight vitamin C, I'm shot.
Oh God, yeah. So definitely, just get the whole thing or not at all, And if you come down to Springfield, we're happy to do the ozone, and the ozone is another wonderful cleanup. Just detoxifies everything, but it could also have a detox reaction too, which is good in a way, but. Definitely, good luck in this. I mean, please feel free to touch base. I'll let Norm know that about this call, and he listens to this to the radio, by the way. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I came down for a week's intensive. I think probably right before you joined Norm, and we weren't doing the infusions at that point. But if I were closer, I'd definitely be having the infusions there, because they're just not equal with everybody. And I couldn't figure out why she doesn't recommend the B complex and who's done studies and who's saying that they counteract each other.
It's I don't ask about certain things with certain people. I mean, there's something called let's see, what's the term I'm looking for? I think the best one that comes to mind, ignorance, ignoring the facts, literally.
Yeah. I guess why ask why.
Yes. Thank you. Right on.
Well, thank you very much for your help. I certainly appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. It's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Blessings. Yep. Do we have another call? Oh, okay. I think we had another call. Please do call back. We certainly would love to connect. We still have some time. In the meantime, I do want to mention our friends and supporters, actually, for what we do. And there's a couple of folks that I'd like to mention. The first, of course, is our friends at Spring Valley, one of the best health food stores here in town. They carry all of our favorites as well: Dr. Shealy's Essentials, Youth Formula, Bliss Oils, literally everything. And wonderful service, great people, good quality products. And one other thing, since we were talking about nutrition, and until I get a phone call, I just keep on talking. There is, for those who do not get at least their fair share of the 8 servings of fruits and vegetables, which is most people don't. And if you're not, please, let's be honest. Tart cherry juice concentrate. One of the best things, and doesn't take much. Even if you're not into that kind of a healthy taste, healthy food type of things, it's literally just a couple of teaspoons, and you get an equivalency of a lot of veggies in your system. But I'm not saying to do that and not think about veggies. Do think about veggies, but you can do that as well. Actually, great. We got a phone call, and hello. You're in the air.
Yes. I was wondering here, does the Shealy-Sorin Institute use a hyperbaric, I think I'm pronouncing it, hyperbaric chamber?
I have friends, and I am certainly going to be investing in one of those devices. Yes, I love the concept. It is enriched oxygen and a lot of benefits. What we use in our program at this point that does something very similar, and of course there's some differences, is the ozone, intravenous ozone, that which is an O3 gas as opposed to hyperbaric, or in other words O2 itself. But different systems. What was your question on hyperbaric, or what was your inquiry, please?
Well, I'd heard different things about that it helped with so many different things. I was going to ask, what do you use it for, and can you name some things that it helps out with and stuff? Because I've heard parts of it. I don't really know much at all about it, though. I've never used it. I wouldn't know it if I saw it, but I've heard good things about it. And I thought, well, I wonder if you and Dr. Shealy use that.
Well, yes, and I've been in one myself. Basically, so it's a wonderful concept. It's a great idea, and what it is literally it's a hyper oxygenation, enriching of oxygen. It's great for fighting infections because most infections don't like oxygen. It's O2 is it's great for healing. It's great for recovery from certain procedures. And it may help in certain situations, such as, for example, getting back from a heart surgery, or just basically not a prolonged illness or otherwise. Same, I use the same with currently with intravenous solutions such as vitamin C and medical ozone. But you can certainly, if you get to a hyperbaric, that has many benefits.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I was just curious about that. So. Doc, you will be using it in the future then? Or?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Right now, we've added quite a few programs, and it takes a while to put things in motion. So we don't want to do everything all at once. It is definitely on the horizon. Absolutely.
Very good. Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. And for anyone who wants to make a phone to call, 417. 447-1777. All right. Again, 417-447-1777, and we got a call. Okay, great. You're in the air.
Okay, I would like doctor about PEMF.
PEMF, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it really. So I was heard it's supposed to be real good.
Yes, ma'am. And if you allow me, I'll give you a quick summary of what it is and how it works.
Okay.
Okay, so PEMF, the idea of electromagnetic fields, came around from a while ago. It's been it's been known for a long time. In the 40s and 50s, there was a discovery of something called Schumann frequency, 7.83 cycles per second, and that's basically the heartbeat of the Earth. It's all around the planet, literally, and it protects us from harmful elements coming in from the outside. Interestingly enough, that ozone, what happens there? There's there's ozone there. Lightning breaks up oxygen molecules. Somehow you end up with 7.83 cycles per second. That frequency is essential to the human body. And there was experiments in the 40s and 50s, especially in the 50s, where they took students, healthy young people, put them in bunkers devoid of any frequency, no frequency whatsoever, and they got sick real fast. And then they returned the 7.83 cycles per second, and a lot of that got recovered right with that. So that's the basic frequency, the sweep of the first mode of the PEMF unit that we're talking about. Second mode is in something called gamma. Gamma is 40 cycles per second, and when you put it over the head or the scalp or a baseball cap or anywhere near the head, it literally optimizes the brain. We actually did a study with 10 opioid addicts, and I'm not saying everyone there is an opioid addict. If you are, God bless, and if you're recovering, God's strength to you. But even in those brains, there was a over 95% benefit reduction of cravings and everything else, and return to normal life. So it literally just allows the brain to be, I'm okay. And then there's a third mode at night, which is in delta, 0 to 3 cycles per second. And that's when you want to keep it plugged in so that overnight you charge it and then you can use the unit during the daytime. So for the night, the delta, 0 to 3 cycles per second, what that does is it supports the stage 3 deep sleep, but it's also very good for any kind of neuropathic nerve-related pain. So people with sciatica or any kind of neck-related conditions, chronic pain, that's one of the settings to try or to consider. And all around, it's a low amplitude device, 0.2 gauge, which basically means it's safe 24/7. The only things that would be a consideration or concern is a pacemaker or something with a battery device. It's not going to hurt you. It can do something potentially with a battery. And we don't say anything about pregnancy just because, we can't say anything about pregnancy. Anything can and does happen, so from good things and otherwise. But in general, I hope that I answered your question.
Okay, can I ask you something now?
Yes, please.
Okay. I've got pinched nerves in my back.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've got fractures. The fractures are old, but my low back hurts real bad. Is there a chance using that it could help it?
I believe it should. Absolutely. Yeah. Give it a go. Yes. And actually, speaking of giving it a go, do you already have the device or?
No, I was waiting to order it after I talked to you.
Yes, ma'am. There's actually a 15% off on everything in the store, including that. So do take advantage of that. There is a code. It's number 3 and the word TIPS, 3 tips. That's the title of this radio show. So
okay, it's number 3 and what?
TIPS. T as in Tom, India, Peter, Sergey.
Okay. So when I seen it on there, it's a round thing. How will I put that on my nerves in my back?
Yeah, let me actually demonstrate. I don't leave home without it. Hold on. Okay. Perfect. I didn't get a chance to put it on for the radio. I was running around doing technical stuff. This is the device. This is the control box. This is where the modes are. You can switch from 1, 2, 3, as simple as that. And then you can also turn it off. And this is charged. Now, this is the place where I would use the second mode. the gamma over the scalp. And actually, I would also put it right where you're hurting, or right where the neck and otherwise the discomfort is, right in this area. You can do something like this, 24/7, literally. Or you can just put it in a chair and just put a pillow over it, so it's a little, you don't feel the ring, and then that's another way. But do give it a go, and at the next radio, please get back to me, and I want to know how you do.
Okay, so the pinch nerve to my back,
Mm-hmm.
I just lean back on that round thing.
Yeah, apply the ring right where you're feeling the pain or where the pain is coming from. So if it's the neck, at the neck level.
Yeah, it's not the neck, it's the back.
Well, it's pinched nerves. Okay, yeah. Well, apply it to the approximately the area that you are. It can be in the front, it can be behind. There, it's and stay with it at least for a couple of hours. At least for a couple of hours. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it's almost immediate. But like I said, give it a go and let us know how it goes. We do need to get to. It is a radio program, so unfortunately time is at a premium. But I hope I addressed your questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, dear. And do connect with me next week, please. Okay. Do we have another call?
Right.
Yep. Thank you, ma'am. Yep. Hello. Hi. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes. I was just curious. I was tested positive for COVID, and I was given Paxlovid.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was wondering how I should take that, or if I should take it, or whatever. Should I take it?
Understood. Okay, couple of questions. You haven't started yet, right?
I just took one dose.
Okay. Yeah. Do you find any support or any difference? Did it make any better?
I thought it was fine before I took it.
So you didn't have any significant symptoms, right?
No, I had just a slight headache, which I took Tylenol.
Okay. So you're more or less under. Well, this is a mild situation. And a couple other questions. No significant shortness of breath, no dropping of the saturation or breathing wise. You're generally okay, right?
Yeah, the oximeter is like at 97, 98.
Wonderful. So this is what I would do. I mean, if I was in this situation, I wouldn't necessarily take that medicine. I would hold off. I mean, unless something much worse. What I would do is the following. If you're local in Springfield, I would certainly welcome and invite you to have a couple of IVs, intravenous vitamin C and intravenous ozone. A couple of treatments can generally make things a lot better, a lot faster, and avoiding a long hauler type symptoms. So for anyone out there who's struggling with that, if you can find a provider like that just consider strongly. You want a good amount of vitamin D3, at least 50,000. Are you doing that?
Yeah,
okay.
I do that every day. I do that every day.
Vitamin C, good B complex. You got to have B with the vitamin C.
Okay.
Other things, magnesium. Magnesium gets depleted with any kind of stress, topical.
Yeah.
Okay. I would add a few other things to your regimen. Beta-1,3-glucan. Beta-1,3-glucan. It's part of the youth formula that Dr. Shealy has put together, but you need more of that. I would take another 500 extra milligrams, and also astaxanthin. I can never spell that right. Astaxanthin, perhaps. Astaxanthin. Yeah, 20 milligrams generally, 20 to 30. And of course, N as in Nancy, A apple, C cat. NAC. That's the government is trying to make it into medicine grade so they can control it, but I think you can still get it some places. Just if you can get it, get a bulk order. That's my suggestion to you.
I have. Yeah. I have some of that. How much would I take of that?
Basically, is it a powder, or is it a pill?
A pill.
Basically, 1,200 milligrams, 1,000 to 200.
Okay.
And do that in the morning. Yeah. And one more thing, zinc if the gut can tolerate at approximately, well, I'd say at least 50 milligrams with quercetin. Quercetin,
Yes, I have that.
500 milligrams. Yeah, you're in a good place. I wouldn't necessarily take that medicine. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. God bless. My pleasure. We have about a minute left. So unfortunately, I don't think we have a time for any calls here, but I do want to summarize the entire concept. And the idea is, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be happy, if you want to optimize and make the best life possible for you, there's 3 basic things that we teach our private patients. And those 3 basic things are, this is the foundation of health: lifestyle. Number 2, supplementation in our crazy polluted world. Number 3, self-regulation. Most important of all, self-regulation. And that's autogenic training, biogenics, but there's many other systems. Whatever you do, make sure that you are okay, no matter what, and it's an internal, I'm okay. Well, we're going to go slightly past the radio for YouTube, Facebook. Comments, thoughts, any questions. So follow us if you're not, where a lot of stuff gets covered on those non-radio segments in between. And we'll see you next week.
The views expressed on this show are those of the host, guest, and callers.
All right. How's the, am I on volume-wise?
Still on Facebook. Yes.
Facebook? Okay, so we're still on. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Shall we go through the, see comments, thoughts, questions?
We had a question.
Great, yeah.
We had a question, is the PEMF scalar wave technology?
No, it's not the same concept. Now, we have a scalar device. Actually, scalar concept, Nicholas Tesla is incredible in how advanced he was and what he brought to the world. There's literally a scalar adrenomedulin is one of the chemicals, one of the neurotransmitters that are nobody really measures in other than academic circles, and its level of stress. And actually, this device itself is not a scalar technology, but there is a scalar technology that we do have, and it's called it's a device about the size of a good size book, and position in front of you or heading towards you, covers the entire room, lowers free radicals, and let's see, also has shown to decrease the blood pressure, sugar, decrease blood coagulation. So it's a wonderful thing to have, and it may potentially, again, I cannot make that claim, but it may potentially be helpful against the 5G as a countermeasure. Not the same thing as a PEMF. PEMF operates on a Schumann frequency as a scan, but then gamma primarily in the second mode at 40 cycles per second, and then delta mode at 0 to 3 cycles per second, which is deep sleep, relaxation, nerve, calming down the nerve activity, pain or overactivity or otherwise. So I hope that answers the question there.
Okay. We had another question about the NAC and the quercetin.
Quercetin, yeah.
Do you take them together, or do you take just one or the other?
Okay, thank you. NAC. NAC is a wonderful substance, and acetylcysteine. Okay, the can be in a pill form, usually in 600 milligram capsules. I usually take 2 in the morning. I'm no longer able to get that. If somebody's got a source out there, please let me know. And we have an online store, so I mean that's just how bad this is. Government is trying to make this into a situation of it's a medicine controlled grade, so to speak, for NAC. So that means it's doing something really good, or it's scaring somebody that it's available. So if you can find a good bulk source, I would say definitely invest into that. And by the way, I don't have any stock in any of the NAC-based companies, but if anybody can let me know where they are, I'll consider that. The quercetin is a slightly different topic. It's quercetin and zinc. quercetin allows zinc to enter intracellularly, in other words, into the cell. Why is that important? Is because zinc is one of the most important for the skin, for the immune system, and it's been shown very effective in the pandemic, or however people can say, we used other words for that thing in the past, but whichever way you use your words, it's really great for the immune system, and it really does well. So I hope that answers that question. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Yeah.
How long does it take to dissolve cataracts with castor oil?
Now that is where it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So if you're literally at a place that you cannot see and you're needing to see, then it may not be the right thing for you with USP grade cataract drops. And you can basically put a couple of drops. We recommend at bedtime because it does make the vision a little blurry, and it's the drops. But it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It doesn't last very long, the blurriness, and it's good for scratches. It's good for, if in my sports and everything else, I've done plenty of self-injuries, not intentionally, but eyes including, and a couple of drops, within a day. I mean, it's all healed. So it's really wonderful. It's a lot better than antibiotic, and I should say antibiotic. It's a lot better than the drops that I prescribe out of emergency room, and it doesn't require prescription, just like most good things in life. Yeah. Yeah.
Good show.
Thank you. So where are those thank yous coming from?
Just the different people. They just have places.
All over the place?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hello to the world. This is, Real Holistic Doc, Shealy-Sorin Wellness. And I just want to remind everybody, stay good, stay happy, stay healthy. Much love. And don't forget, you are an unlimited being. We don't have any concept of how much power, how much capacity, how good we are, what we can do. Once we embrace it, once we realize the blueprint of the potential, and once we step into our power source, my God, we can do incredible things. So on that high note, I'm going to say, farewell for the moment. We'll see you next week for another amazing topic and conversation. Take care.